Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well. I am back with a new story, and this time it's a story about a festival. A festival which is just round the corner. Any guesses? Well, let me give you a hint. For this festival, none of us likes to buy new clothes. We all prefer to wear our old clothes because they get dirty with colors. Any idea what I'm talking about? You got it! It is the festival of colors, Holi. And just like all the other festivals, even Holi has a wonderful story attached to it. So before we go to the story, look down at the bell icon, and if you haven't pressed that yet, press it now and subscribe to our channel to not miss out any of these new interesting stories in future. Now let's go listen to the story. A long time ago, there lived a demon king named Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu wanted to be the most powerful creature in the whole world, and so he started praying to Lord Brahma. He prayed and he prayed and he prayed so hard that Lord Brahma was very impressed, and he decided to grant Hiranyakashipu a boon. The boon that Lord Brahma granted him said that Hiranyakashipu could not be killed by a man or an animal. He could not be killed indoors or outdoors, in the sky or in the ground, in the day or in the night. Now, after getting that boon, Hiranyakashipu was very happy. He knew that he would be the most powerful creature in the whole world, just like he had always wanted. And this got into his head. Hiranyakashipu became so proud and arrogant that he started considering himself even more powerful than God. And he forced everyone in the kingdom to worship no one else but him. And everyone in the kingdom was so scared of Hiranyakashipu and his evil ways that they did not have a choice. So everyone in the kingdom started to pray to Hiranyakashipu, except one person. And that one person was none other than Hiranyakashipu's own son, Prahlad. Prahlad was a strong believer of Lord Vishnu, and he continued to pray to Lord Vishnu despite all of Hiranyakashipu's evil ways and tactics to make him stop worshipping Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu tried every way that was possible, and when he ran out of options, out of anger, he ordered Prahlad to be killed by his people. Everyone in the kingdom was shaking with fear. Imagine the king ordering his own son to be killed because he wouldn't worship him. What chance did they have? Well, the king asked his people to throw Prahlad off the cliff. But Prahlad was not worried at all. He very calmly folded his hands and closed his eyes, and he started chanting Lord Vishnu's name. And just as he was pushed down the cliff, just below the cliff, where there were supposed to be sharp rocks and stones, appeared a big stack of hay, and Prahlad landed right on it, and he escaped unhurt. Hiranyakashipu got very angry, and he ordered his men to put Prahlad in a field full of elephants so that they could trample him and kill him. But once again, Prahlad folded his hands and very calmly started praying to Lord Vishnu. And once more, the elephants did not harm Prahlad. He escaped unhurt just like before. But Hiranyakashipu did not give up. He ordered his men to lock Prahlad up in a room full of poisonous snakes. He thought the snakes would bite him and that would be the end of him. And that would teach Prahlad a lesson for not listening to his own father. And once Prahlad was locked up in that room, he started praying to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu saved Prahlad once again. Instead of biting Prahlad, the poisonous snakes started dancing and bowing before Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu was so frustrated. He was so angry that he had run out of all the options. Nothing seemed to be working for Prahlad. And so he decided to turn to his sister, who was equally evil and wicked like him. Hiranyakaship's sister was called Holika. Holika had a magic cloak which protected her from fire, which meant that when she wore that cloak, she could not be burnt by fire. So Hiranyakashipu asked Holika if she would help him, and together they hatched a plan to kill Prahlad. The plan was that Holika would wrap the cloak around her and she would take Prahlad in her lap and sit on a wooden pyre which would be lit up, and Prahlad would be killed in the flames of the fire and Holika would remain unhurt because of the magic cloak. And so Holika got ready, wrapped the cloak around herself, took Prahlad on her lap and sat down on the wooden pyre. When the pyre was lit, Prahlad folded his hands once again. He closed his eyes and he started to pray to Lord Vishnu. He prayed and he prayed as the fire rose higher and higher. The higher the flames became, the harder Prahlad prayed. And everyone was shocked to see what happened next. Another miracle occurred. The cloak that Holika had wrapped around herself flew from her shoulders and wrapped around Prahlad. And the next thing that everyone heard were the screams. They were loud screams that came from Holika, who ultimately burnt in that fire, and Prahlad once again remained unhurt. Prahlad was very happy and he was very grateful to Lord Vishnu for having saved him every time. But Hiranyakashipu was very angry at seeing the plight of his sister. His sister had burnt before him, helping him out. Hiranyakashipu was roaring with anger, and he looked at Prahlad and he tried to harm him. Lord Vishnu saw this and he couldn't take it anymore. He was very angry with Hiranyakashipu, and once and for all he wanted to put an end to his arrogance and his evil ways. So Lord Vishnu is known to have changed his form and turned himself into a half animal and half man, and he is known as the nursing avatar of Lord Vishnu. He changed himself into that form so that he could put an end to Hiranyakashipu. Now if you remember, Hiranyakaship's boon said that he could not be killed by a man or an animal, in the day or in the night, indoors or outdoors, on the ground or in the sky. So Lord Vishnu took the form of nursing avatar and he landed in Hiranyakaship's palace right at the time when the day was just getting over and the night was just about to start, so that it was neither day nor night. And he took Hiranyakashipu by his hair and he dragged him to the doorway. And right in the middle of the doorway, he sat at the door, put Hiranyakashipu on his lap so that he was neither on the floor nor in the sky, neither indoors nor outdoors, and he put an end to him. So that was the end of all the arrogance and evil ways of Hiranyakashipu. Everyone in the kingdom rejoiced the end of Hiranyakashipu and his rule, because there was no one to scare them anymore. And that, my little friends, marked the beginning of Holi. And do you know how everyone celebrated this festival? By putting colors on each other, and no one seemed to mind. People drenched each other in colored water. They danced and they sang and they prepared various kinds of sweets to celebrate the victory of good over evil. And that's why every year we celebrate Holi, to mark the end of evil and the start of something new. And just one day before Holi, a holy bonfire is lit up, and it's believed that lighting that bonfire, which is known as Holika, takes care of removing all the impurities and to bring about an environment which is fresh and pure. So that was the story of Holi for you. Wish you a very happy and safe Holi. Bye bye.